Organic? What a rip-off! You must be using those cheap imported products, so I'm gonna stop doing business with you.
That's the hurtful thing Sarah Brown said, dismissing the flour I produce. She's the heiress of a popular bakery I've been dealing with for a long time. I've had a long-standing relationship with them, but ever since Sarah got involved in its management, things started feeling uncomfortable. With a certain plan in mind, I decided to cut ties and stop doing business with them. My name is Mary Johnson. I'm a 45-year-old farmer, turning 46 this year. My family has been wheat farmers for generations, and my folks are still active in the business and also produce flour. I've been helping them out since I was little, and after graduating from an agricultural school, I began farming alongside them. Our product's biggest selling point is that it's pesticide-free. Of course, there are downsides to organic. It's prone to pests, and it comes at a higher price. But we're committed to providing the most natural and safe products for our consumers. There are folks who appreciate our efforts, and one of them is the renowned Bakery Bread Club. Smith, the head baker of Bread Club, is really particular about his ingredients. After trying various types of wheat, he settled on ours. He is like Johnson's wheat is the best. Without your flour, I can't make the best bread, and he's been a loyal customer ever since. Those words inspire my parents and me to keep producing the best wheat. However, my parents are in their 70s, and they aren't getting any younger. Their health has been declining, and though I'm still single with no marital prospects, I hope to find a successor soon. I don't need someone related by blood, I just want to find a successor as soon as possible. It would be such a shame if the legacy ended with me. Although that's on my mind, finding the right person has been a challenge. Moreover, since Sarah got involved with Bread Club, it's added to my worries. The name of that troublesome individual is Sarah Brown. The situation with Sarah's involvement in the business is somewhat complex. Bread Club was originally owned by Sarah's father. He was a businessman who owned several businesses, and Bread Club was one of them. He was a very understanding man and had no objections to Smith using our slightly expensive flour. But after he passed away suddenly due to an illness a year ago, things took a turn. The new CEO appointed Sarah to support the management of Bread Club. It's seeing as she's expected to take over the business someday. Usually, her role would involve advising and providing ideas to ensure the smooth operation of the business. But what she's been doing is the exact opposite. She ignores the baker's opinions, imposing her own ideas on them. Smith was like all Sarah talks about is cutting costs. Just because ingredients are cheap doesn't mean they're the best. But she doesn't get it. I've encountered Sarah a few times when delivering flowers. She was always fussing over costs with Smith.
Hey, why does it cost so much when you're only using flour? Use cheaper ingredients, and you can cut even more costs.
She would talk like this, not even addressing Smith, her elder, respectfully. And the moment she saw me, she was like, "Who are you? A supplier? We're busy here, just drop off what you brought and get going." Every time our paths crossed, she gave me a nasty look. I've got a pretty bad impression of her. People say she used to be a humble and cheerful person when her father was alive. I've overheard something, and she was like, "Now that my father's gone, I can do things my way." So, she probably was hiding her true colors all along. Sarah's only 25. She's still green in the business world. She should be more humble and learn from experienced ones, but it doesn't seem like she's gonna.
I didn't say anything wrong. And, by the way, anyone can become a baker. I really don't want to listen to people with such a low status.
It seems she's shouting about these things at Bread Club, and the bakers, including Smith, seem to be in trouble. By the way, due to Sarah's rude behavior, Smith once seriously warned her. We are a renowned bakery and have lots of regulars. We can't just use cheap ingredients. If we're charging high prices, we need to serve high-quality breads. That's why we have to be picky about our ingredients. However, after hearing this, Sarah got even angrier.
Customers can't really tell the difference in flavors. If you serve them something average and claim it's renowned, they're gonna say it's delicious.
Sarah's condescending comments about the customers made Smith extremely angry, leading to a heated argument between the two. When I heard this story from Smith, I was like, how about we try to have Sarah removed from her position at Bread Club? But Smith just looked hesitant. If only it were that easy. Right now, Sarah is very much liked by the CEO and board members. They believe she will eventually get the hang of the job and that there's no problem. It seems that Sarah has a knack for buttering up those above her. She must be thinking of how to make her way in the world. I realized she's quite the formidable opponent. Today, when I went to deliver to Bread Club, something was amiss. The familiar faces, like Smith and the other bakers, were missing, and in their place were 5 young men I'd never seen before. All were dressed as baker, but their attire seemed sloppy, and one even with accessories. A blonde man with earrings gave me a clear look of disdain when he saw me. "Who are you?"
"This isn't a place for a withered old lady, you know?"
Out of the blue, calling someone a withered old lady. I felt anger surge up, but managed to introduce myself while suppressing it. "I'm Johnson, the one who delivers flowers to this place. I came to deliver today." "Where's Smith and the other bakers?" "Smith? Oh, that older guy who was here before." If I recall, Sarah and the other bakers gave him the boot. Hearing that, I was shocked. Fired? Why all of a sudden? Just then, Sarah entered the place, so I asked her why she had fired Smith and the others. With a look of annoyance, Sarah explained. "Well, those guys kept defying me. They were difficult to manage, so I just found a reason and fired them. They all talked about considering a job move to rival bakery. I thought it was Sarah who was hard to deal with, not them. Firing them for such flimsy reasons is too harsh." Feeling frustrated, my thoughts wandered, but Sarah, unbothered, started introducing the new bakers. The bakers I hired to replace them are all obedient and great folks. They might look a bit flashy, but who cares in this day and age? "Well, maybe," I said, eyeing the new bakers with skepticism. Even if their appearances were acceptable, I felt their attitudes were problematic. One was openly dozing off, and 2 others were laughing loudly. The remaining 2 started playing a battle game on their smartphones. It was supposed to be the time for opening preparations, but no one seemed eager to work. The previous bakers were all diligent, making the most of every minute. Their passion for their job was fundamentally different. I don't mean to be rude, but I seriously doubt these folks are suitable for Bread Club. You can't serve good services with such a lackadaisical crew. As I stated my opinion firmly, Sarah's eyes narrowed. "What would a mere farmer like you know?"
"Everyone, make some bread for this old lady."
At Sarah's beckoning, the 2 noisy bakers sloppily started baking.
"Here, savor the best bread and realize your mistake,"
Sarah said confidently, but that tasted awful. The bread was too dense, with an overpowering salty flavor. I've had bread here before, and this was incomparable. It was astonishing how much the taste changed with different bakers. "This isn't good. You'll lose customers like this." When I expressed my honest opinion, the bakers and Sarah began to get angry. Especially Sarah, she was so furious that she was like, "Just get lost." I thought it'd be hard to calm someone as riled up as her, so I decided to leave for a moment. Suddenly, Sarah grinned maliciously.
"I'm cutting ties with a presumptuous farmer and supplier like you. I've always hated how overpriced your product is."
I was taken aback by her sudden outburst. "Our product is organic and safe. It tastes as good as any other farm's," I retorted, but I knew Sarah wouldn't take it seriously.
"Organic? It's just overpriced. I'll stop doing business with you because I prefer cheaper imports from overseas."
She wouldn't even listen. I wanted to argue back, but I questioned the point of clinging to Bread Club now that there's no one trustworthy left. I thought I might face harassment if I continued my relationship with them. More than anything, I felt sorry for my products ending up in the hands of such people. Besides, I had come up with an idea.
"Alrighty then, let's call it quits."
I decided to sever ties right then and there. After leaving Bread Club, I quickly set out to put my idea into action. First, I called Smith and asked what he's gonna do next. He was like, I've decided to work at a baker called Breadtop, which is a competitor to Bread Club. I heard that other bakers also landed jobs at renowned places. I had always known that bakers from Bread Club were really skilled and were frequently approached for job offers. So, I kind of figured they'd quickly find new jobs, and boy, was I right. Furthermore, when I told him that I had been cut off from trading, he made me an offer. That's rough. How about you supply Breadtop with your flour? My bread really needs Johnson's wheat, you know? I'd be happy to. I immediately agreed to deliver to Breadtop. Thanks to Smith's introduction, I'll also supply our products to the businesses where other bakers have started working. It's almost scary how well my plans are turning out. The idea I came up with was to sell our products to rivals of Bread Club. The bakers from Bread Club were gonna get jobs at other places, basically competitors to Bread Club. By providing them with high-quality ingredients, if the bread quality goes up, maybe some of Bread Club's customers might shift. And then, I thought I could get back at Sarah. I think it's a bit of a roundabout way, but the only retaliation I could think of on the spot was this. Moreover, even though I lost Bread Club, I'm now selling in other 3 businesses, including Breadtop, so it's a win for me. My parents were disappointed about stopping the transactions with Bread Club, but they said it's fine since I got new business partners. Ever since, I've been busier due to the increase in partners, but I'm grateful since it shows that many people need our products. About 6 months after cutting ties with Bread Club, I was taking a break at home after delivering to Breadtop when I suddenly got a call. I saw it was from Bread Club and had a bad feeling, but I decided to answer anyway. As soon as I answered, I was greeted with a loud voice of Sarah. She was like, "Hey, Mary. It's Mary, right?" She was so loud that I had to hold my phone a little away from my ear to continue the conversation. "It's Mary. What do you want? We stopped doing business, so don't call me out of the blue now. If it's nothing important, I'm gonna hang up." Wait. I mean, please hold on. Sarah awkwardly tried to stop me with a formal tone.
Actually, the number of customers at Bread Club has drastically decreased. We're really struggling.
I knew that was gonna happen. I warned you, but you didn't listen. I couldn't help but tease her a bit, and Sarah let out a groan. I regret not listening to your advice. We're getting a lot of complaints about the bread tasting bad. Even our loyal customers are saying they won't come back. I knew I was right about their bread. If customers were satisfied with bread that bad, nobody would struggle. But it's not just about the taste, right? When I pointed that out, Sarah made a strange noise. You're right. The new guys we hired are just angering the customers. I didn't think those careless folks could handle being bakers at that place. I bet you got complaints about their poor service and lack of grooming, right? When I asked that, Sarah began to rant at an incredible pace. No, it's way beyond that. Playing mobile games in front of customers? Saying they're not motivated so they close just an hour after opening? It's just a hot mess. For them to be called a mess by Sarah, they must have been really terrible. I thought they were straightforward people, but you were wrong. Why did you hire those folks? I got to know them on social media and gave them the job as bakers since they said they were unemployed. I thought they'd be loyal to me, but all 5 of them quit, saying working at the place was too much of a hassle. So they all quit within 6 months? But it's not surprising given that they were just loafing around without working. Smith, a top-notch baker, was like when you delve deep into bread, it's profound. To become a full-fledged baker, you need a good amount of time and dedication. I can't imagine those 5 having that kind of dedication. It was clearly Sarah's bad judgment in hiring. So, with no bakers left, is Bread Club closed for now? Well, yeah. I thought I'd keep the bakery running by myself until someone new comes along. I thought that was an even worse idea. Given Sarah, who's just as bad if not worse than those 5, there's no way she can manage the bakery. Hasn't the feedback from the customers gotten even worse? When I asked that, Sarah vehemently agreed. Exactly. There were tons of complaints that the tasted even worse and that we should stop looking down on customers. I can't imagine you being good at customer service. For instance, you've been looking down your customers the whole time. Maybe that condescending attitude was evident in the bakery too? When I asked that, Sarah fell silent. She probably couldn't find any words to rebut. Thank you for the update. If there's nothing more to discuss, I'll leave now. I was about to hang up the phone when Sarah was like, hey, hold on. Please wait. We haven't gotten to the main point yet. I was wondering if you could sell your flowers to us. It's pretty audacious to want to restart our business under these circumstances. My answer is obviously no. Of course not. Bread Club isn't trustworthy anymore. I can't possibly send my precious products to such a place.
Please reconsider. My future is at stake here.
Sarah's voice cracked with desperation. Because I completely messed up with Bread Club, the executives have a really bad impression of me. They even told me I'd be out on my ear if I don't turn things around for Bread Club. Looks like the company's executives finally caught on to Sarah's true colors. I could see a future where Sarah gets the boot. You were thinking of using my wheat to enhance the quality of the bread and win back the customer's trust, weren't ya? But I have absolutely no intention of helping you out.
Oh, you've got everything figured out. I thought using better ingredients would improve the bread's quality. Please, I beg you for your help.
Sarah's voice was choked with tears, but I still wasn't moved to help. Lost trust isn't easily regained. Goodbye. With that, I hung up and blocked Bread Club's number. Shortly after, I got a call from Sarah's personal cell, but I blocked that too. I didn't receive any more calls, making it seem like the matter was settled. However, half a year later, Sarah suddenly showed up again. While I was working in a farm, someone was like, hello. Their skin was rough and their hair was all messy, and they were wearing a cheap-looking suit. They looked like a down-on-their-luck ghost, so much so that I couldn't help but scream in surprise. What do you want? Why did you suddenly show up? I ain't doing business with you. As I said that, Sarah shook her head. I didn't come here to do business today. I've been fired and I'm not in a position to do any transactions anymore. So, Bread Club couldn't recover after all? Sarah nodded slowly. Bread Club had to close down due to severe financial troubles. And with that, I lost my job and am currently looking for a new one. You're not gonna say you want to work here, are you? But that was precisely Sarah's intention.
I'll do any chores, please hire me. I've changed, I promise.
Even though she said she had changed, I couldn't forget how arrogant Sarah used to be. I can't trust you now, especially after everything. Why are you even coming to me? At first, I thought I'd get a regular job. But nothing worked out, and now I'm trying to find work through people I know. I wish she wouldn't count me among those she could rely on.
You are a CEO's daughter, there must be better connections for you.
Please rely on them.
But the moment I was fired, everyone around me became cold. My relatives called me the family's disgrace, my mom kicked me out, and even friends and acquaintances started ignoring me, so I can't rely on them.
Sarah began to cry, but I wasn't moved. Maybe people turned cold because of your bad attitude? It makes sense that no one would want to help you.
I admit I was selfish. But I've truly reflected on my actions.
Sarah, in her desperation, tried to grab my arm, but I dodged quickly. What are you saying? Farming isn't an easy job. Reflecting a little isn't enough, can you please leave?
But I didn't save any money, so I need to earn somehow. Please, hire me for anything.
Sarah tried to grab me again, but lost her balance. She screamed and dived face-first into the muddy field. As she got up, her face and chest were covered in mud. She seemed suddenly embarrassed by her messy appearance, tried to run away and was like, I can't believe it. Bye. However, she slipped again, further dirtying her face. I tried not to laugh at her clumsy appearance, but I had to make sure she wouldn't come back. This field probably rejects you. Just give up on being a farmer, you're not cut out for it. No way. Seeing the lingering look on Sarah's face, I decided to be more stern.
If you come back here, I'm gonna call the cops. Don't ever come back.
As I shouted loudly, Sarah was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and ran off covered in mud. Heading home looking like that, she'll probably be the laughingstock of many onlookers. Imagining this scene, I couldn't help but let out a chuckle. Since then, Sarah hasn't shown up around me, so I have no idea how she's been. However, Smith was like, seems like she's asking around for job opportunities. She even came to Breadtop the other day. Of course, I turned her away. Given Sarah's notoriously bad personality, I don't think anyone wants to associate with her. She might have a hard time finding a decent job for a while. On the other hand, I'm still running the farm with my parents. Our relationship with the businesses we deal with is thriving, and the bakers previously worked at Bread Club are as lively as ever. Happily, recently, 2 women in their 20s have expressed interest in taking over the farm and the flour production. We asked a young farmer who's active on social media to recruit, and they applied. One used to work at an agricultural machinery company, and the other at a food processing company. Because of that, they both have solid knowledge about farming and food, and we get along well. Both being young, they're quick learners, so they'll probably be full-fledged farmers in no time.
My parents and I are delighted that new hands are on deck.
I'm thinking of moving forward strongly, hand in hand with the new generation.